Howdy guys, Cub here. Welcome to Snapshot 18w15a. Today we are taking a look at all the changes in this week's snapshot, and there are quite a few, so let's go ahead and get started. Our first change this week is that watercolor is now biome dependent. So you can see here we are in a forest biome and the water is quite blue, whereas over here in the swamp biome the water is quite murky and quite brown. So you can see an obvious color change between the forest and the swampland, and that is also true of other biomes. Another instance of the waters having biome-specific colors are the oceans. So over here we have a regular ocean biome right here, or actually a deep ocean where I'm at right now. And over here we have a lukewarm ocean. And you can see, yeah, the water color is quite significantly different between the two. And also another note is that if we go into options here, if we go into video settings, there's actually an option to change the biome blend. So if you want it to be the maximum blend, that's 15 by 15. You go ahead and do that. You see the biomes are much more smoothly blended now than they were previously, so you can tell a very gradual change in color from one biome to the next. But if you want it to be the opposite for some reason, you could also set this to the minimum setting, which is off. And now you can see, yeah, the transition is very, very apparent now between the ocean and the lukewarm ocean. So yeah, you can sort of play around with that. The default is 5 by 5 though, so I'm just going to go ahead and set it to the default setting. And there we go. So, what else do we have new this week? And next up, guys, we have the Dolphins. So, this is the new mob in the game this week. So, we have ourselves Dolphins now in the game. You can see they have some flippers, they have a dorsal fin, they have a little snout in the front, and they sort of swim around as you'd expect a dolphin to swim around. And if I go ahead and spawn in a few more, you'll hear they do have some unique sounds. And they also do like to jump out of the water quite frequently, just like you saw there a few times. They'll also play with items on the surface of the water. So if let's see if I drop one on here, if they'll play with something on the surface here. Let's see if I drop it like this, maybe. Let's see. Will they actually go for that? Yeah, they do. That's cool. So they sort of pick it up and then they pop it out a little bit further along on their swim. Yeah. So yeah, you can see, you saw it right there again. That's awesome. So they can like sort of move items around over time. So that's kind of an interesting feature of the Dolphin. Another interesting feature about the Dolphins is that they will actually attack you in groups if you attack them. So if I just hit this guy here, and then just wait here, you'll see, yeah, they start to like do jump attacks on you as a group, which is kind of crazy until you die. So yeah, that's something to be aware of. The Dolphins can fight back and can kill you if you're not careful. A few other things about Dolphins: they can actually spawn in any biome except for the frozen ocean biome, and as you just saw right there, they will actually drop raw cod when killed. We also have 3 new items in the game this week: the Heart of the Sea, which you can see right there, the Nautilus Shell right there, and the Conduit, which you can see right there. So all 3 of these, at least the Conduit and the Nautilus Shell, you can get in game. Heart of the Sea, I'm not sure if anybody's found out how to get it so far in survival, but you can use the Heart of the Sea to craft up with a Nautilus shell, or a couple Nautilus shells, a Conduit. And the Conduit is a very special item. So if we go ahead and get on down here, you can see if I place this in the water, let's say if we go way down here into the water, you can see it lights up an area around the Conduit block. And also, another quick note with this snapshot, the water blocks no longer cause light diffusion at a rate of 3 light levels per block. It's now a rate of 1 light level per block. So yeah, light travels better underwater now, so that's fantastic. So you can see that, yeah, just by placing down these, it lights up a much bigger area than it would have before. So this gives off a light level of 15. It also, if you place it above water, yeah, you can see it places with a water block around it. And the way you activate these if you're in survival, there's actually a status effect you can get from these. And so you need to place down Prismarine, sort of like in a shape. Hold on, not like that. In a little bit bigger shape than this, like this, like a 5x5 shape. 5x5 shape right there. Then you just put the conduit in the center, and then there you go. It activates. Sweet! That's awesome. And so it gives you the conduit power, which basically, if I go ahead and switch to survival game mode, /game mode survival, it basically allows you to see really well underwater. So you can see right now, we can see, yeah, really, really far underwater here, as if the whole thing was lit up by the conduit block. Also, our breath bar is not going down, even though I'm in survival. So it also allows you to breathe underwater. So guys, a lot more info about the conduit block coming at you guys right now. So the conduit block requires 16 blocks in its immediate vicinity to function. If you don't have 16 blocks, like I don't have 16 blocks right now since I got rid of that one, then the conduit power effect will go away. And you'll see it'll start back up once you add in that 16th block. Now, you can also use sea lanterns instead of prismarine. So you see if I get rid of this one, it stops, obviously, because now we're at 15. But I can add a 16th as a sea lantern, and it'll still function. So you can replace sea lanterns. You can replace these prismarine with sea lanterns. The range of the conduit is also affected by the number of blocks surrounding it. So you can see here, if I get out here, the range of the conduit currently comes out to roughly this sea lantern pillar right here. So you can see right now I'm not getting the conduit power effect refreshed, and if I wait a few seconds, I'll actually lose my good underwater vision and also the water breathing effect if I was in survival. So if we go ahead and come back over here, you see we come back into range, we get the effect back now, and we can actually increase the range by adding more blocks around this. And as I said, the principal axes, 1 block away from the conduit block, is where you need to place blocks. So right here, if I place this around like this, and then around like this, and around on this side, and basically make a giant box around the conduit block. There we go. Yep, we now have the maximum level conduit block. And now if I go way out here, you'll see the range has dramatically increased. So all the way out here, even where I can barely see the conduit block, I'm still getting the conduit power refreshed. So that is sort of similar to a beacon in that the more blocks you have around it, the better the range will be. And also it will gain some additional properties. So for instance, if I go ahead and spawn in a hostile mob within 8 blocks of this conduit here, you'll see, let's just put a drown right here. Hostile mobs within 8 blocks of this thing will actually start to take damage from the conduit itself and will actually eventually be killed. So yeah guys, the conduit block does damage to mobs within 8 blocks of range, and does so pretty effectively. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits, and the drown goes down. So that is a pretty effective way to kill mobs underwater with a block passively. So that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. So that is the conduit block information. To make the conduit, of course, you need Nautilus shells, which can be found underwater with the drowned mobs. They sometimes spawn with them. We also have new world generation this week in the form of the frozen ocean biome. So we are currently in the deep frozen ocean, and you can see icebergs will form in the deep frozen ocean. So we have icebergs made out of packed ice and snow blocks on the peaks of the icebergs. And then we also have a very small quantity of a new block called blue ice. So we should be able to see this near the base of some of these icebergs if we look very closely. Let's see if we can spot it. Yeah, right here. Here we go. So yeah, here's a little outcropping of blue ice. And I'm wondering, does it go down? Yeah, it goes down below the sea a little bit. All the icebergs do, actually. And there's more packed ice and blue ice down here. A couple other notes about blue ice. You actually cannot mine blue ice with a regular pick. So for instance, right here, if I try and mine this blue ice, you'll see can't really do it. But you can mine it with a Silk Touch pick, like I have right here. So if I go ahead and mine this one with Silk Touch, you'll see, yeah, blue ice does indeed drop. And you can also use packed ice to craft blue ice. Just you need 9 packed ice in the crafting table like that. Gives you 1 blue ice. Finally, guys, I know I said earlier that blue ice and packed ice are the same, but they're actually not. Blue ice actually allows items to travel much, much further than packed ice and regular ice. So I'll just demonstrate that here. So you can see pretty obviously that blue ice, items on blue ice slide much, much further than it does on packed ice and regular ice. So that's also a useful feature of blue ice. So anyways, guys, that is all for me from Snapshot 18w15a. Very excited to see new mobs like Dolphins and new items like this Conduit Block, which are going to have very interesting applications in the very near future. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. This has been Cub. Goodbye.